and I've chosen the subject who can end poverty and the major players. Now, first of all, when we address the subject of ending global poverty, we should be careful to point out that our first aim, of course, is to end extreme poverty. Now, as it was mentioned before here several times, generally extreme poverty is referred to as having a daily income below $1 US. In reality, extreme poverty means that in the household budget there is no room for investments because they have zero to little savings. Needless to say, in such circumstances where there is absolutely no chance for investments, that no economic progress can be made whatsoever. The absence of sufficient savings to ensure investments for basic investment and basic infrastructure throughout the country is what we call the poverty trap. And it is exactly this trap that should be redressed, according to Professor Sachs in his book. By injecting sufficient funds, it is possible to start an engine that will move a nation along the path of economic development. Of course, the needed investment strategy is one of a highly integrated, combined effort. Special attention should be given to a country's specific economical, geographical, and cultural background. Professor Sachs calls this a differential diagnosis. This highly integrated strategy can only be achieved by combining the knowledge of the major international institutions such as the IMF, the World Trade Organization, and the various specialized UN agencies. Surprisingly, exact calculations and even repeated commitments have been made throughout the years to provide the necessary funds. As stated in the UN Millennium Project, an annual 0.7% GNP of the world's richest countries would be sufficient to provide the necessary funds. To lift the developing countries out of their poverty trap and to push them up towards the ladder of economic progress. Until today, however, only 5 out of 22 countries have enforced their promises through their foreign aid budgets. The major culprit, given its promises, is ironically the country that calls itself the greatest power on the surface of the earth. I am of course referring to the United States of America, and I hope that they will soon realize that the vast costs of their military power are totally out of proportion compared to their miniature foreign aid budget, with the latter of course being the real threat to their national security.